let's go into the article. I'll
Sure.
take a little break there, man.
So it says, Chairman of the Public Accounts Committee, PAC, Julian Robinson, says Jack Dan Limited, a company owned by the People's National Party Member of Parliament, Dennis Gordon, has repaid funds it saved when the University Hospital of the West Indies misused its tax exemption to import goods on its behalf.
Hold on. So the company saved money.
Exactly.
How come them save money?
That's what they're putting out, right? But that is improper.
$10 million are saved.
Mm-hmm. That is the issue. And we've always spoken about this, neighbor, where media houses of this nature spins these narratives for the People's National Party. The very institution that should be holding up in a neighbor. Because when you come now and put something like this and word it and say they saved something that is illegal, so it simply means, every and any criminal activities that has a financing aspect to it, it saved the criminal and save money.
It saved the money.
Ari, a neighbor, if I may. You see that language?
Oh, yes, sir.
You see that language there, Ari? I think so the beginner set up the PMP with that language there. Because if your argument is going to be, save $10 million by not paying over taxes to the government, what happened to the little man who send a barrel come at the wharf when custom charge him? Or we might get to save a certain amount of money. I think they set them up. Because the language, I listen to you reading that thing, and I not see it all now, But the language in that article is telling me that the writer is setting up the PMP. Continue.
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Robinson made the revelation on Wednesday on Radio Jamaica's Beyond the Headlines program. And he quotes, "A report was done by Customs and it identified what the duties are, and Mr. Gordon has paid those duties." That was said by Mr. Robinson.
So when did Mr. Gordon pay the duties?
Well, let's find out when it was paid. Because
when are the duties to be paid when you bring something in? Pay it before you get the thing?
Exactly.
I never know that we could pay duties after to the customs. I think you have to pay your duties, then you get the goods. Before you get it, and if you can't pay the customs, the customs keep the goods.
But him have a history of doing that, neighbor, because he paid for the permit for the building afterwards, and he paid for the approval afterwards.
But there are some questions here for the hospital too, sir.
Mm-hmm.
The board at the hospital.
The board
management at the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
But because one of the things we want to point out as well, neighbor, is to let people understand that the UHWI does not necessarily answer to the Ministry of Health. So we have to ensure people know that there's a distinguished aspect to that.
Because it's kind of a Caribbean setup.
Right. And as such, they make the decisions for themselves, almost like a mini self-governing aspect independent of the Ministry of Health in this case.
Which is why it is the only hospital in Jamaica that is, it's cost sharing.
Right. And the thing with it is, I'll try to find back the names of the persons at the time, because it was also put out in the public when this was being developed. So I'll try to find them and then I'll send them.
Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah. So Robinson said he was told that it was approximately 10 million and that Gordon, who is a member of the PAC and a member of Parliament for St. Andrew East Central, shared this information with him before Tuesday's sitting of the committee, which examined the multi-million-dollar breaches that were uncovered in an audit of the health facility in January. So the question here, neighbor, is when Mark Golding asked Dennis Gordon a few months ago about this issue, Why was this not forthcoming by him? You see why we're questioning the character? By Dennis Gordon. Right? Because before he went to Robinson, remember Mark Golding came out and said he asked the member involved. Right? And before he said that, he said he don't know of anybody who is involved. But then the narrative, especially led by the opposition spokesman on health, Mr. Dawes, what name? What is his name? Dr. Dawes.
Dr. Dawes. Not Draws?
Yeah, Dawes.
Dawes name a D-A-W-E-S.
I'm not sure. Is Dawes? I'm not even sure. The Dawes. Okay. The narrative by him at the time, Harry, was that this was all the minister to be blamed.
Mm-hmm. While
oh my God.
I want to say was, because they've removed him from the website of the institution, or rather of the company.
And you realize that they put him on the PAC? Dawes?
Right. Exactly.
They
removed Crawford for him, but guess what happened now? Is that double whammy? Because he's now being caught into this. He's now being drawn to the forefront because he's also a consultant at the company. I don't think he's a former, even though they've removed him from the website of the company.
Dawes is a consultant at Jamden?
He is.
What are you saying to me?
He is.
Did you see the proceedings, neighbor? Did you watch it?
No, sir, I didn't watch it. I've been told to do so.
When you watch it, look for this playing out in front of you. The PMP members only ask questions about the medical waste bins and the plates and crockeries, while the government members had to be the ones asking the questions about the 12 dialysis machines and the office furniture. Every one of the opposition members only asked about the garbage bin and the crockery them, the teacup them. That's all they were asking about. Them never touch the 12 dialysis machines. Neither did they touch the office furniture, which is another few million when that the one they come. They didn't.
Oh boy. Go ahead, Crawford. Sorry, Crawford.
But neighbor, maybe I'm the one who's saying one by one they're going to choose.
No, he's up on my screen here. He's up on my screen. That's why I mistake your name for him. I'm looking at him right now. He's up on my screen. You're coming to talk to me, Mr. Crawford? Mr. Crawford is listening. Go ahead.
So it said, neighbor, Gordon had also recused himself from that sitting, which was the initial one when this came up. Now, and this is quoting Robinson as well. The principal of Jackden had indicated to me that one of the reports relates to his company, and he, in fact, has paid to the University of the West Indies the sums of the duties that are outstanding. He has told me that at this stage, I can't speak on the other entities, but he has indicated that to me. No, neighbor, are there more to come? Because let's go back to it, He has told me that at this stage, I can't speak on the other entities, but he has indicated that to me. That is Gordon who said that to Robinson. So by the law of deduction, because I was a science student too, neighbor, so I know about these things. Based on this evidence, there is more to come.
So, Harry, here's an interpretation, Harry and neighbor. The tactic with their attorney to silence the media was to stop the discussion in the public. It is from that time that Mr. Gordon made the payment. So the intention was make the payment, you kill the conversation publicly, make the payment, and then by the conversation came back up in the public, then the explanation is it was a mistake
And then give
Jack
back the
then
money.
end up right. It was a mistake that Jack then end up in that report because the money was paid. It was an oversight by the hospital. That was the plan. Until the second person now stood up and said, listen me, the information I gave you is correct. Do not retract.
Yeah. Mr. Harry, there is another story in the Gleaner. More calls for Dennis Gordon to step aside. You could find that one for me.
Let me take a look, neighbor, real quickly.
Yeah.
Have it here.
Have it. Okay. Let's hear a little bit from that.
All right. Let's see. It's loading now. So let me get it here. Because they're actually on the website back to back, you know. So it says, calls are mounting for the People's National Party Member of Parliament Dennis Gordon to resign from Parliament's Public Accounts Committee, PAC, after it was disclosed that the University Hospital of the West Indies, UHWI, misused its tax exemption status to import goods for his company.
Okay, so the calls are coming from who?
So we're getting into it, neighbor. It says political commentator Lloyd B. Smith has also criticized the People's National Party leadership for its silence on the issue and urged the party to take decisive disciplinary action against Gordon.
Hold on there now. So this is a former member of parliament on the PNP side, former Speaker of the House, Lloyd B. Smith.
Right, Lloyd B. Smith.
Political commentator, is he?
That's what he is. He's dubbed as in this piece.
Oh, but he's saying that the PNP must take decisive action.
And he has some advice for them, you know.
Let's hear the advice.
So he says, this does not augur well for our democracy in terms of the opposition party, or, for that matter, the ruling party functions when such incidents occur. There needs to be a more swift and decisive approach so as to allow for the probity and transparency in governance matters, Mr. Smith said. Here's where he's giving advice now, neighbor. I would expect that his party to take the bull by the horns. So you realize he doesn't take himself away now. He's still a People's National Party person. I would expect his party to take the bull by the horns and take whatever disciplinary action it can take and not allow for the thing to fester any further.
But this man is an insider. It's festering. Oh God. There is a sore breaking out there, man. It's a pus.
There's something festering. Bigger in it.
You have to read into this, you know, Harry. To fester further. Lloyd B is not an outsider. This is a man inside the party. He knows what is happening.
And he knows the disgruntled, he knows the whispers that are going around, and he also probably know the division that is happening, which remember, earlier in our conversation we said division will happen in the party.
Further. It's festering. Don't make it fester any further.
Exactly.
My God.
No.
Sora broke out the man. Go ahead.
It spoke to the other companies, Supreme Laundry Services, Willman Sales, and Scientific Medical Services contributed a loss amounting to 23.1 million. Now, it goes down, neighbor, to say the Integrity Commission, the police, and the Customs Agency are all undertaking separate probes into the breaches, which were uncovered in an audit of the health facility in January by the Auditor General's Department. It went on to say Gordon is a member of the PAC and member of St. Andrew East Central, which we know. He offered no comment on the issue when contacted by the Gleaner this morning. When they said this morning, let us check the date, April 2, 2026. That is today, right? Now, let's go on a little further. It says yesterday, PAC Chairman Julian Robinson disclosed that Gordon had repaid the UHWI the monies his company would have saved through the waived customs duties, which amounted to approximately 10 million. Gordon had also recused himself from Tuesday's sitting of the PAC meeting, which examined the multi-billion-dollar breaches that were uncovered in the audit of the health facility. Smith, however, stated that this repayment does not absolve Gordon of his moral responsibility as a public servant, and reiterated that he should step aside. Now, I'm going to quote Mr. Smith now. From all indications, it's clear that his company was the beneficiary of whatever took place. So, on that basis, I would want to think that he should not only recuse himself, but he should resign from the particular committee, he said. That's Mr. Smith.
Okay.
Executive Director of Jamaicans for Justice, Michael Jackson, also believes Gordon should recuse himself from the parliamentary committee. And I'm going to quote it now.
That is Jamaican for Justice.
Right, Michael Jackson. If he does not do so voluntarily, he should be removed to eliminate any perception of conflict of interest. Now, neighbor, that part don't sit well with me, The perception, it is not a perception, it is what it is.
It is beyond that, yes.
Right?
It is
so
beyond
you can't say the perception of it. So I don't agree with Michael there.
Lloyd B. Smith was more forthright,
Forthright with it, right.
From all indications, he said, it is clear that his company was the beneficiary of whatever took place.
And you see the thing about this neighbor, the other part, and I'll speak to it. It says, otherwise, it will be difficult for the public to take the PAC proceedings seriously, she said in a post on social media platform X, which is former Twitter. Now, you don't come out and make a statement like this when you're Jamaica for Justice representative neighbor. You don't come make a tweet. You don't come make a tweet.
A tweet, Not a press release.
You should come out forthright. You're supposed to come out, not just in the Gleaner. Well, the Gleaner is quoting her from social media. You have to come and put out a piece.
Yes.
Because how can
probably
we
be open for an interview?
But how can we now take the Jamaica for Justice serious if it's a tweet you're going
Twitter.
to get? Anything you can twiddle with your fingers. We can't take it serious. The same Jamaicans for Justice that went on marches, neighbor, for other issues. Yes. That is the severity and the seriousness that you should treat this. Not sit behind your phone, probably in your vehicle or in your office, and make a tweet. We don't run countries and we don't fight these issues by sending tweets.
Very good. Very good observation.
The young people have a thing about them say a Twitter badness. We don't do that. This is a matter of public concern, and you're representing the public. Come out and speak. This is the same Jamaica for Justice that went in arms up when it comes on to the crime issue. This is no different.
This is a very serious matter.
Of course, neighbor. Remember,
deserves more than a tweet.
Put it into context. Our government had to revert to at least adding some of our taxation to the people of Jamaica. While this is happening, how many more of these issues are there?
My God.
And as such, this is one that is
festering.
Exactly. So this is serious. You don't take these matters lightly by sending a tweet. Now, of course, I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt and extend some grace to say, maybe she will come with an interview. Maybe there's more to come. And I'm extending
I see one of the callers saying in the group that JFJ said they did not want to speak on it publicly. But isn't putting out something on Twitter public? Huh?
Exactly.
Isn't Twitter public?
But neighbor, understand this, It is the Jamaicans for Justice can easily say those are Michael Jackson's words and distance themselves that they didn't put it out. Right?
That is true.
So there's also another
spin. That is true.
But they will have to come now and say, is it that they defend Jamaica sometime. And let's go back to
sorry, you have anything else there? Could you complete the article? Let's
Right.
hear a little bit more of it.
Yes. So it says, let me go back down to it. Oh, she also stressed that while the UHII is liable to repay all misused funds. Oh no, let me. I think I find the other part. Yes. Let me see if it goes down further. I'm just checking neighbor to see how much further it goes down. All right. So it says, while that is a step, and this is like Smith, she does not believe that the payment of funds to UHII by Gordon is enough to exonerate himself of any culpability. We spoke about it. Now, and I quote her, while that is a step in the right direction, it doesn't excuse Mr. Gordon from any possible fines or penalties that may very well be imposed following the outcome of an investigation from the different bodies, such as the IC, which is the Integrity Commission, or MOCA,
yes,
Major Organized Crime and Anti-Corruption Agency, she told the Gleaner. She also stressed that while the UHII is liable to pay all misused funds, the private companies involved should not only repay the funds, but also face appropriate fines or penalties.
There was a plural there. Private companies. So on a one company.
It's not one company. The others that we quoted earlier that makes up the 23 million, they are also in it. So she's opening up now to the others and not just Jack Dennan and Mr. Gordon. So there's another part that says Young Jamaica, the youth arm of the governing Jamaica Labour Party, has called for Gordon's resignation as a member of parliament, the PMP Region 3 chairman, and PAC member. So Young Jamaica wants everything gone, wants him to be removed permanently. In a previous statement issued in February, Jack Den Group of Companies maintained that its engagement with UHII was compliant and that the Auditor General's findings pointed to administrative and systematic failures within the hospital, not misconduct by the company.
Read that again.
In previous statement issued in February, Jack Den Group of Companies maintained that its engagement with the UHII was compliant and that the Auditor General's findings pointed to the administrative and systematic failures within the hospital, not misconduct by the company.
So so $10 million is an administrative failure?
Administrative and systematic failure.
Systemic.
and it goes on a little further in a neighbor.
Let's hear it.
The report identifies administrative and systematic failures within UHII's internal procurement and customs-related processes and does not conclude that Jack Den caused or directed those failures. The company said, adding that its operations were conducted under formal arrangements and in accordance with applicable procedures.
Wow.
No, neighbor Ari.
My God.
Are we understanding why we have almost 200 layers, 200 different layers of procurement, red tape in our country? There was not one layer of red tape before 1989 when the PMP won in a neighbor. From the 1960s come right up. Yes, Siaga put some safeguards in place in the 80s after Manley destroyed the 1970s. But since 1989, this is why everything moves at a screeching halt when the government is trying to do some development now. Because what? All these red tapes had to come in place every time the People's National Party go to Washington to go borrow some money. Either the IMF, the IDB, the DB, whatever, tell them, listen me, unless you put some structures in place so we can monitor what we are lending you, unless you put some safeguards in place to make sure that the money go towards the project that you're borrowing it for, we not go no. And every time they go Washington and come back, they have to put a layer of procurement in place to prove to these bodies that yes, we can angle no money. So look at this now. The classic PMP, victim blaming. You use the system. So in a one mouth, I don't know how much mouth Julian have. In a one mouth, Julian say, him do it for save some money, so the company could save some money. And in a one other mouth, he did a blame you. I see a system failures. So if you use the exemption because you try to save some money, how then you go blame the you now for system failures when you use the system to save some money? Criminals they are.
But not only did they blame UHWI, also customs, the blame was laid at their feet.
I tell you. Yeah, I say everybody can go blame customs and hurry. All we get barrel from foreign can go down and have go blame customs.
Exactly.
Because it seems as if customs system only fail when the PMP want to use the system. But when every other citizen use the system, customs system work well.
Work very perfect. And you see, this raises a question in a neighbor and protecting. When you say you have gone with an engagement with the UHWI, what is that engagement? Because here's the thing. You should never ever, it doesn't matter what company you are, you should never engage the University Hospital of the West Indies in anything to bring through customs. You are an independent company.
In the first place.
You are an independent company.
Fair deal. You want customs and tax office to get a TCC for bringing where you bring in.
Exactly.
Or you gonna UE. Or you gonna the hospital for go bring in something in our country. Hospital I know customs. Customs you forgot to.
What makes it worse, is the fact that they're in healthcare and janitorial services, right? The UHWI is solely when it comes on to health. How could you be so brazen? So, as Jamaica, that's a kakati. To step to an institution of that magnitude, of that size, to be so bold, to know that you can go and coerce them into corruption. And when I said them, it would be the board and management at that time. It comes back in a neighbor to what Andre Horton said. The People's National Party sees Jamaicans as subjects where they can control the narrative and spin it how they want to, because they don't think much of the Jamaican people and their intelligence.
Neighbor, I beg you go through the article then, neighbor, when you have time. And over the next coming days, the same one Harry just read, because if based on listening to what Harry just read, the writer set up the PMP.
My God.
Because there's so much about this article that you have to question.